The reason why you guys can't live this is because of this little segment I'm giving to you right now. The reason why you can't live this is because the drop is trying to live it. The reason why I say you're not here is not to make things boring, it's to free you to realize you are the one and manifest as the writer and director of your life. Okay, so this segment that I'm about to give to you right now, which is the flip side, if you like, of oneness. It's the logical understanding of oneness. Okay, if there is a logical understanding of oneness, it's more of a scientific explanation, if you like. When you understand this, then it will allow you. The reason why you can't live this is because you believe that the physical material world that you're experiencing through your 5 human senses is more real than the feeling you're experiencing in the formless world. That's what I mean by your power is outside of you. When you understand what the physical world really is, which is the physical world really is the formless world. These things that we call physical matter are just the shadow of the light. It's a shadow. It's not the truth. When you realize that the shadow is projected by the light, then you're free to live this. The greatest example I can give you is that where I live on the ocean, on top of a cliff, in fact. And I look out in the ocean at night time, and at night time, I can't see anything. It's all dark. Okay? During the day, it's beautiful, you can see the whole ocean, it's magnificent. And at night time, I sometimes look outside and it's just completely dark. But at some nights where it's clear sky, and especially when the moon is full, I can see the whole ocean. It's beautiful. It lights up. Every part of the ocean is lit up in front of me. And it's just a magnificent sight. Now, it's easy for me to go and look at the moon and go, wow, look how bright the moon is. Look at the power that moon has that lights up the whole ocean that is kilometers away. It lights up this entire ocean for me. It's easy for me to do that. Okay? But that's not true. That's an appearance. Do you understand? Because what's the truth? Does the moon have power? Does the moon have light? No. The moon is just this black rock, okay? And it has no light coming from it. Where's the light coming from it? The sun. The sun shines its light onto the moon, which reflects onto the ocean that I'm seeing. What I'm trying to say is that you're not the light of the moon. The physical world is the light of the moon. Who you truly are is the sun that shines its light onto the moon. What I'm trying to get you to realize is that you're the sun. And the sun, I'm not really saying you're the sun, because I know some religions say you're the sun. That's not what I'm talking about. It's just a metaphor, okay? What I'm trying to say is you are the sun, you are the power, you are the light that is projecting, and you're experiencing all these things that you call physical. The physical is the appearance. It appears to be there. You look at the moon and you look at the light of the moon, it appears to be bright, but it's not. There's no light coming from the moon. It's just an appearance. That's what I'm trying to get you to realize. And when you realize that, then you'll be free to experience whatever you want through the moon of the light. You'll be free to experience whatever you want through the physical world. That's when it becomes fun. When you don't need to do things. When you're not experiencing it out of fear. When you're not driven out of fear. When you're not rewarded towards love. Love and fear are both energies that are human-made. The love that I'm talking about is when the fear and love come together and become whole. That's universal, unconditional love. That's different. Does that make sense? You are the sun. And the thing is, currently your power is in the physical. So you keep going, no, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know where you did your school, but there's definitely light coming from the moon. That's like what you're saying to me. So what you need to understand, for you to truly be able to live this, you need to understand what the physical world is. Okay, so this component of the program is for you to understand what physical matter is. All right, some of you will find this easier to swallow, some of you will find it more difficult. Okay, those who are more scientific kind of thinkers, left brain thinkers will find this more easier, because the other one might be a bit more woo-woo. Those who are more, they follow a feeling more and rely on the feeling and rely less on the left brain will find this more difficult. And you're like, what? But it's saying the same thing. Science is now saying the same thing. So let's have a look at this. Lights, please.
The picnic near the lakeside in Chicago was the start of a lazy afternoon, early one October. We begin with a scene 1 meter wide, which we view from just 1 meter away. Now every 10 seconds we will look from 10 times farther away, and our field of view will be 10 times wider. This square is 10 meters wide, and in 10 seconds the next square will be 10 times as wide. Our picture will center on the picnickers, even after they've been lost to sight. 100 meters wide. The distance a man can run in 10 seconds. Cars crowd the highway. Powerboats lie at their docks. The colorful bleachers are Soldiers Field. This square is 1 kilometer wide, 1,000 meters. The distance a racing car can travel in 10 seconds. We see the great city on the lake shore. 10 to the 4th meters, 10 kilometers. The distance a supersonic airplane can travel in 10 seconds. We see first the rounded end of Lake Michigan, then the whole Great Lake. 10 to the 5th meters. The distance an orbiting satellite covers in 10 seconds. Long parades of clouds, the day's weather in the Middle West. 10 to the 6th, a 1 with 6 zeros, 1,000,000 meters. Soon the Earth will show as a solid sphere. We are able to see the whole Earth now, just over a minute along the journey. The Earth diminishes into the distance, but those background stars are so much farther away that they do not yet appear to move. A line extends at the true speed of light. In 1 second, it half crosses the tilted orbit of the moon. Now we mark a small part of the path in which the Earth moves about the sun. Now the orbital paths of the neighbor planets, Venus and Mars, then Mercury. Entering our field of view is the glowing center of our solar system, the sun, followed by the massive outer planets, swinging wide in their big orbits. That odd orbit belongs to Pluto. A fringe of a myriad comets too faint to see completes the solar system. Ten to the 14th. As the solar system shrinks to one bright point in the distance, our sun is plainly now only one among the stars. Looking back from here, we note 4 southern constellations, still much as they appear from the far side of the Earth. This square is 10 to the 16th meters, 1 light year, not yet out to the next star. Our last 10-second step took us 10 light years further. The next will be 100. Our perspective changes so much in each step now that even the background stars will appear to converge. At last, we pass the bright star Arcturus and some stars of the Dipper. Normal but quite unfamiliar stars and clouds of gas surround us as we traverse the Milky Way galaxy. Giant steps carry us into the outskirts of the galaxy. And as we pull away, we begin to see the great flat spiral facing us. The time and path we chose to leave Chicago has brought us out of the galaxy along a course nearly perpendicular to its disk. The 2 little satellite galaxies of our own are the clouds of Magellan. 10 to the 22nd power, a million light years. Groups of galaxies bring a new level of structure to the scene. Glowing points are no longer single stars, but whole galaxies of stars seen as one. We pass the big Virgo cluster of galaxies among many others, 100 million light years out. As we approach the limit of our vision, we pause to start back home. This lonely scene, the galaxies like dust, is what most of space looks like. This emptiness is normal. The richness of our own neighborhood is the exception. The trip back to the picnic on the lakefront will be a sped-up version, reducing the distance to the Earth's surface by 1 power of 10 every 2 seconds. In each 2 seconds, we will appear to cover 90% of the remaining distance back to Earth. Notice the alternation between great activity and relative inactivity, a rhythm that will continue all the way into our next goal, a proton in the nucleus of a carbon atom beneath the skin on the hand of the sleeping man at the picnic. Ten to the 9th meters, 10 to the 8th, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We are back at our starting point. We slow up at 1 meter, 10 to the 0 power. Now we reduce the distance to our final destination by 90% every 10 seconds, each step much smaller than the one before. At 10 to the minus 2, 1/100th of a meter, 1 centimeter, we approach the surface of the hand. In a few seconds, we'll be entering the skin, crossing layer after layer from the outermost dead cells into a tiny blood vessel within. Skin layers vanish in turn. An outer layer of cells, felty collagen. The capillary containing red blood cells and a roughly lymphocyte. We enter the white cell. Among its vital organelles, the porous wall of the cell nucleus appears. The nucleus within holds the heredity of the man in the coiled coils of DNA. As we close in, we come to the double helix itself, a molecule like a long twisted ladder whose rungs of paired bases spell out twice, in an alphabet of 4 letters, the words of the powerful genetic message. At the atomic scale, the interplay of form and motion becomes more visible. We focus on one commonplace group of 3 hydrogen atoms bonded by electrical forces to a carbon atom. 4 electrons make up the outer shell of the carbon itself. They appear in quantum motion as a swarm of shimmering points. At 10 to the minus 10 meters, 1 angstrom, we find ourselves right among those outer electrons. Now we come upon the 2 inner electrons held in a tighter swarm. As we draw toward the atom's attracting center, we enter upon a vast inner space. At last, the carbon nucleus, so massive and so small. This carbon nucleus is made up of 6 protons and 6 neutrons. We are in the domain of universal modules. There are protons and neutrons in every nucleus, electrons in every atom, atoms bonded into every molecule out to the farthest galaxy. As a single proton fills our scene, we reach the edge of present understanding. Are these some quarks at intense interaction? Our journey has taken us through 40 powers of 10. If now the field is 1 unit, then when we saw many clusters of galaxies together, it was 10 to the 40th, or 1 and 40 zeros.
So you tell me now, what is real? What did we find when we went deep, 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 deep into outer space? What does science find? Nothing. Just empty space. What's the empty space? Energy. It's just energy. And it's not your normal energy that we manifest that's positive or negative energy. It's not your normal energy that we manifest as light. It's just emptiness. Energy, emptiness. Something that's infinite is just empty. What do we find when we went deep, 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 deep? What did science find? That when we went deep, 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 deep into our bodies? Hello? Nothing. Nothing. So you're just little energy balls moving around that you can touch and feel and go, this, I am here. What's within that emptiness again? Energy. You go deep into space, you find emptiness. What's in the emptiness? Energy. You go deep into physical matter, not just your body, any physical matter. What do you find? Emptiness. What's that emptiness? Energy. Hello, oneness. Everything is just one. So then the question is, where are you experiencing this from? From here. There's only one mind. There's only one intuition. And it is expressing itself through many different forms. We are all different musical instruments of one orchestra. Every instrument makes a different sound. There's 6.5 billion instruments making every single one of them has a different DNA. Every single one of them is making a different sound. The trumpet makes a certain sound. The piano makes a certain sound. The violin makes a certain sound. Well, there's 6.5 billion sounds. But we're all singing one song. And that's the song of love. It's one song. But you won't be part of that, or you won't experience that one song at the moment you have a judgment. Oh, but he did that, she did that, they murdered that person killed that person. Well, what about the tsunami that came and killed all those people? What about nature? No judgment there. Well, that was nature. We had no control. Everything that is taking place with love. The space it's coming from. Your experience of it is up to you. You create your own experience. You create judgment, you create fear. So, let me show you another video. Lights, please.
This is the construct. It's our loading program. We can load anything from clothing to equipment, weapons, training simulations, anything we need.
Right now, we're inside a computer program?
Is it really so hard to believe? Your clothes are different, the plugs in your arms and head are gone. Your hair has changed. Your appearance now is what we call residual self-image. It is the mental projection of your digital self.
This isn't real.
What is real? How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain.
What is real, he says. If you're talking about what is real, is the things that you experience through your 5 human senses, and that is what you see, feel, hear, taste, touch, whatever, 5 human senses. You're touching the chair. If that's what you call real, well, that's just an electrical signal in your brain. So your brain is actually telling you you're touching that. Your brain is telling you that you're seeing that. Furthermore, there is no brain. Just to take it one step deeper. That's just how science or the medical understand it. The brain. But the brain is empty space too. But we need to have a logical understanding how things work for us to be here. So we have logic, science explaining things, and then we have religion giving you different experience of that, giving you faith. But then you have something in the middle. Truth, which transcends science and religion. Truth. Science, left brain, religion, right brain. Truth, both brains. Positive and negative, one. Internal, external world, one. Truth, no one can tell you. Truth can't control anyone. Science can manipulate. Religion can manipulate. Truth cannot. That's why when someone says, is this the new religion? No. Far from it. You cannot put this into anything. It cannot be controlled. So if this is a bit difficult for you to comprehend, let me use different references that you may relate to. You know, like when you go to a movie. Is the movie real? No. But you wanted to experience it as real. You know, when I was a kid, my dad was a big movie buff, right? So every time we go, come on, we're going to watch a movie together. You know, it's Sunday. So we all sit down, and sometimes, you know, there was one time I remember, it was a horror film. And, you know, there was this scene, someone was getting murdered, and, you know, you're probably thinking, I can't believe your dad let you watch that. But anyway, I'm sitting as a kid just going like this, you know, my eyes are open, and like I'm kind of like shaking, and my dad looks at me and goes, it's okay, it's not real, it's just made up. The blood is not, it's blood, it's chocolate. The knife is not real, it's just made up. You know what I said to my dad? Shut up, Dad, you're making me lose the experience. I want to experience it as real. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay? You want to experience as real. So if you're thinking, well, hang on, this seems like it's here, I mean, I can feel it. You want to experience it as real. If the moment you go and your hand goes through it, you're like, hang on a sec, this isn't real. Well, that means I don't have to go through what I have to go through. I'm out of here. Okay? You want it to be real. You designed it to be real. Remember the video game? You wanted it to be real. So when you touch something, you're like, yes, this is real. I don't know what you're talking about, Amir. It's here. It's meant to be here. It's meant to appear to be here. You're meant to appear to be this body. For you to come and experience the thing that you came to experience, to lose yourself so you can find yourself and be an infinite being in a finite world, you have to first believe that you are this body. You have to first believe that you are limited and that there is power outside of you. And there's governments and churches and different organizations and companies and bosses and people, bullies that can control you. They don't exist. You're creating them to control you. Do you understand the pill that you have to swallow before you can live this? It doesn't exist. It's not there. And there's a lot of books that you could read in science, and there's a book called The Field. There's all these different books, which I'll recommend some of these books in an email that I'll send to you on Monday. If you want to go and furthermore study this component of it. It's not there. None of it is here. But you're thinking, but it seems real. Yeah, it's meant to, just like the movie. You don't want to be watching this movie, and then suddenly you're watching this movie, there's Matt Damon in that film, that's Bourne Ultimatum, and then suddenly you see the boom box, you see the scene, you see the costumes, you see the catering trucks, and you're like, hang on a sec, that's not even in Paris, that's in a studio. Is that going to ruin your experience? Will it ruin your experience? It will ruin your experience. It has to seem real. The fear that you're experiencing when the bank is after you has to seem real. The fact of losing your job, the experience of that has to seem real. If it wasn't, you wouldn't experience what you came to experience. This next video that I'm going to share with you is also from the Ant Matrix, but it's probably one of the most brilliant videos that I can share at this point. So I want you to listen to every single word that is spoken in this little brilliant video. It's got a lot of pearls of wisdom. Lights, please.
I told you I can only show you the door. You have to walk through it.
Hello, Neo. You're right on time. Make yourself at home, Morpheus. Neo, come with me. These are the other potentials. You can wait here.
Do not try and bend the spoon. That's impossible. Instead, only try to realize the truth.
What truth?
There is no spoon.
There is no spoon?
Then you'll see that it is not the spoon that bends. It is only yourself.
The Oracle will see you now.
Do not try and bend a spoon. That's impossible. Have you got the spoons ready to hand out? Oh, he jumped up. Do not try and bend a spoon. That's impossible. Instead, only try to realize the truth. What truth, he says? That there is no spoon. Then you will realize it's not the spoon that bends, it is yourself. The moment you say there is a spoon, then for there to be a spoon, there has to be you. Does that make sense? The spoon, you. That's two. If you take the spoon away or see what the spoon really is, pull the curtain back from the spoon, what's the spoon?
Energy.
Who are you?
Energy.
Then you realize you are bending yourself. It's not the spoon that bends. Do not try and bend the spoon. That's impossible. Instead, only try to realize the truth. This whole, everything I'm going to be giving you is for you to walk out this door and keep realizing the truth. Remember the blanket truth? The idea is for you to see the truth in your everyday life. As you keep peeling the curtain back and seeing the truth, you keep reclaiming your power. As you keep pulling the curtain back and seeing the truth, you keep reclaiming your power. You get more and more expanded. You're expanding. Or if you like, the more truer term is you start to realize that you are more and more expanded. You become more and more powerful. Nothing outside of you, you'll get to a point where nothing outside of you can determine who you are. Nothing outside of you can control you. Do not try and bend a spoon. That's impossible. Instead, only try to realize the truth. What truth? There is no spoon. The spoon is a freaking illusion. It just appears to be a spoon there. But what's the spoon really? Energy. Instead, only try to realize the truth. What truth? There is no spoon. It is then that you'll realize it's not the spoon that bends, it is yourself. Can you start linking to how manifestation works here? Do you understand how manifestation works? I don't try to manifest money, for example. Why? Because the moment I go, I want money, that's two. All I stay with is the connection that I have with what I love. And what I love is not something that I have determined in my head. It is something that has arisen from within me. The moment I go, I love that, I'm still one. The moment I go, but I need the money for it, and I put my attention on the money, I've gone into two. Can you see? It has nothing to do with it. You want to change your body, you spoke about changing into a lion. Well, I've changed my body. Okay, I want to change the shape of my body. I was 25 kilos heavier. I'll show you a photo of me. This was me. I was a brown guy. If you want to change the... just put this off for a sec. Yeah? You like that, Brian? If you want to change the shape of a body because you love to, I love to change the shape of my... See, this is what I use to change the shape of my... I love to change the shape of my body. Okay? I had to first overcome the judgment. I'll talk about this after lunch. I had to first overcome the judgment. Once I was in acceptance... Sorry, Brian, it doesn't work. Once I'm in acceptance and then I choose to change the shape of my body, I then don't go, well, this is what I've got to do. Because then that becomes a means to an end. I'm in dualism. I just follow what I feel, and then I started to become aware of my eating habits change. I started to become aware of, I feel moved to walk. Now, I probably always felt moved to walk, but because I had a resistance of what my body was like, I wouldn't feel that. Again, I'll talk about this more after lunch. Okay? But the point is that when you understand that the spoon's not there, you give yourself the permission to make a decision based on what you love and only on what you love. You don't then think, well, I need this in order for that to happen. The moment you go, I need this in order for that to happen, then this becomes a means to an end, which means it's an agenda. You're now the drop. You've gone back to the drop. You're using you can have the power of the entire ocean, or you can have the power of the drop. There is no how. Nothing. I decide to go to America and start this whole thing in America. I do not then think, well, hang on, what do I need in order for that to happen? Do I need a visa? Do I need money? I do not think. I just sit and I act on the next feeling. What's the next feeling? Book the flight, for example. Okay, boom. This is how it works. There's no thought process going, oh, what if that doesn't happen? Or there's none of that. You just base it on the feeling. Is that scary? Yes. But if you start to reclaim your power from the illusion and know that the illusion's not real, you'll find it's easier to make. And what am I really saying here? I'm saying it's not that far, it's not that crazy, because of course, I'm not following any logic, and that can seem crazy, right? But it's not that crazy. I'm just saying follow the feeling of love. What's wrong with that? That's what I'm really saying. I'm saying follow what you love. So here's the thing. Here's the point of what I'm trying to make. If you really, truly knew it wasn't real, what would you do differently tomorrow morning when your head lifts off the pillow? If you knew, if it was true, that it's not real. And when I say it's not real, the physical is not real, but what is? It's all one energy. Do you understand? Take the physical. So I'm saying the physical is not real because it's all the one. Okay, so I'm not just saying it's not real and there's nothing there. I'm saying there is something there. It's energy. But if what I'm saying to you is true, if it were to be true, what would you do differently tomorrow morning when you get up? Yep?
Stress less.
You would stress less. Why? Because it's not real. What else would you do differently?
More than touch.
You would enjoy it. Would you do what you need to or what you love to? Would you be driven out of fear or out of love? That's the point. And there's some of you sitting here going, but it is real. But it is real. Just notice the shift in your consciousness if it wasn't to be real. What happens? You just ponder on that question over the break. If it wasn't real, I mean, right now maybe you're just taking my word for it right now. Okay? I will leave you with things that will allow you to deepen your experience. But if it wasn't real, just like science is saying, what would happen to your attitude? What would happen to your outlook of life? How do you know there's 6.5 billion people in this world? Have you met them? How do you know there's a war in Iraq? Have you been there? Yes, maybe some of you have. And if you have, that's the experience you're going to create. Outside of these walls, there's nothing there. Do you know that? Quantum physics has now come up and said this. This is the observer effect. Outside of those walls, it's just empty space. Do you know when you open the door, you manifest the whole room there? You think I'm nuts? It's true. You're manifesting moment by moment. Do you think there's this whole world out there? It's just empty space. But you will create things in the empty space to support whatever you believe. If you believe you're small, then you will support things to support the world to be positioned in a way, or your circumstances to come up in a way to show you that you're small. If you feel that you're infinite, you will manifest everything moment by moment to show you the infiniteness. Microphone, microphone, everywhere, microphone. Let me ask you a question. Do you want me to answer the questions now, or do you want to take a break? Is anyone busting to go to the bathroom? Okay, let me answer one question. Just stay with me. One question, and then and then everyone else who's got a question, I will answer after the break. Yes.
Hi. I just want to say, like, I really do support most of the things you say. It's just what crossed my mind just now was that, like, how come that we all project things in the same way? So if we create the reality, like, why do we all see that pole over there? Why do we all see the flowers the way they are?
Who's all?
Well, let's say all of us in this
There's
room.
no one else in this room. You're manifesting everyone else to go, yeah, I see that too. This is a big mindfuck if you try to work it out for everyone else. This can only be worked out for yourself. But the truth is, there is no one else in this room. You've manifested everyone else into this room. Okay? And you're manifesting everyone else to go, no, he's crazy because you're not crazy. I see the flowers the way they are. How do you know? Don't go yet. Let me show you one more video because it's just come up with what she just said. I want to show you a video because based on what she just said. How do you know this is black? You support, everyone's going, yeah, he's wearing a black t-shirt. First of all, you're creating everyone to go, he's a black t-shirt. But how do you know their version of black and your version of black is not the same or different? How do you know this is black? How do you know black is black? You don't. Let me show you one video. But to answer your question, there is no one else here. You've created everyone. So you want it right now in this moment, this is the way you've created it. And you've created everyone else to go, yes. And some of you will be going, oh, he's bullshit. You walk out here and everyone else around you go, yeah, he's bullshit. Some of you go, oh my God, he's amazing. You work at everyone else was going, yeah, he's amazing. You're creating your own reality. That's why I said there's 200 people here getting 200 different versions of what I'm saying. It's empty space. Well, you don't believe science? Believe science at least. Lights, let me show you one video and then we'll take a break. Lights, please.
Problems? Look, I'm in no mood to be fucked with, so do yourself a favor.
There's an explanation for all this, David. You and I know each other. You found me on the internet. I'm here to help you, David.
Who the fuck are you? Why are you following me?
First of all, it's very important that you calm down.
Calm down. Calm down.
You must overcome your fears and regain control. Take a hold of your life again, David. It's as easy as holding that glass. What if I were to tell you that you can take control of all of this, everything? Even me.
Look, I'm straight, okay?
David, look at all these people. Seems as though they're just all chatting away, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Nothing to do with you.
No.
And yet, maybe they're only here because you wanted them to be here. You are their god. Not only that, but you can make them obey you or even destroy you.
Well, what I'd love for them to do is shut the fuck up, especially you. You see?
You and I signed a contract.